question that Fiona asked last week is, she said, but who am I actually? Who am I? And then we went back, and then she said, I'm spirit. Yeah, but I don't know if I am. So I thought this week we'll do the exercise. And you have to ask yourself the question, because no point me knowing who I am. I know. It's really important that you really know. It's very easy to say. A lot of people say, I know, I'm spirit, I'm soul, I'm energy. A lot of people say that. But to really know it is where you get the freedom from. That's where the freedom comes. It's kind of like the story of Buddha. He was born Prince Siddhartha to a very wealthy king. And the king loved his son so much that he wanted to overprotect him. You all know the story of Buddha? Lord Buddha? Okay, some of you don't, so I'll tell you. And so the king overprotected him, put him behind these walled gardens, gave him everything he wanted. He got married, he had a child, but he was a bit troubled because he wanted to see what was outside those walls. He wanted to know what life was all about. Yes, he had everything, but is that what life was all about? So what happened was, one day, he just decided to rebel and walked out one of the gates of his house, his palace, huge lands, and he escaped. And then he saw people really sick on the streets, really, really sick. And he goes, oh my God, there is so much sickness out here. He'd been in a very protected free place all his life. When people got sick, they had people around them to look after them. But he'd never seen people sick on the street dying. Then he went out through the other gate of his home the following day. And he saw so many old people. He said, oh my God, we get old one day. Look at them, they can hardly move, they can hardly walk. There's so much suffering out there. Then he went to the third gate and he saw a funeral pyre and he saw death. And he goes, oh my God, I'm going to die one day. It was a realization. He heard about death. He saw sickness, but he didn't see the suffering of a funeral, people going out in a funeral crying. He hadn't realized death. So he goes, so what is all this about? I need to know the truth. Everybody's been lying to me all my life. I need to know the truth. So at the age of 29, one night, he just left his home. And then as he was walking, he said, I want to know the truth. He saw one of these spiritual masters meditating under the tree. And he said, I want to learn from you. So this master, because he said, I want to learn from you because you have peace. I see peace in your face. But when he started to live with this master, what did he see? He taught him all kinds of aesthetic tricks. You sit by the fire, or you leave your arms. Like in India, you'll find a lot of this. You leave your arm out. How long can you leave it out till the arm gets really thin, or they grow such long nails for years? And he thought he did this for a little while, and he thought, but what? How does this set me free? It doesn't set me free. Then he met another teacher who was, okay, you just have to starve yourself, And he wasn't sure about that either. He saw so much harshness, so much unhappiness in it. So he went to another teacher. He learned some meditation. Then he goes, you know what? I don't know. I just have to do this myself. I have to find the truth for myself. I see some good in every path, but none of these paths have given me any freedom from suffering. I'm still suffering. I'm still feeling the pain of life. I'm still feeling the suffering that so many people go through. So he decided to sit down as you all know, the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, and he decided to meditate. And now 4 holy people were passing, and they saw him sitting there day after day. They decided to follow him as their master, and they sat with him. Now this went on for nearly 6 years. He used to have a grain of rice every day, and carried on. And 6 years later, he just one day opened his eyes and he goes, what on earth is going on here? I'm still not free. I'm starving, I'm not enjoying anything, and I still what it's all about. So he jumps into the river in front of him and he says, I just need to purify my mind. I just need to purify my mind. And extremes don't do it. At that moment, a wonderful maiden saw him there shining. He's been shining because he was just living in a spiritual search for so long, right? So, and this maiden comes in and said, you are so beautiful, Buddha. Please, let me offer you some milk to drink. So he drank the milk and he loved the milk. And he felt joy in drinking the milk. Now the other 4 masters that were following him, the other disciples that had become his disciples for 5 years now, oh my God, Buddha has become greedy. He's gone back into the world. He's lost the truth. We are all going to, they went and shouted at him. We're going to leave you. We don't want to be with you. You're a fake. He was quite detached. And then he thought, wow, this is freedom. Not being bothered about what they said. So he continued to meditate under the Bodhgaya tree on his own, and he practiced the path of balance. No extremes. No extremes. Not too much, not too little. If you play the guitar, if you tune the guitar string too much, what happens? It'll break. If you tune it too little, what will happen? You won't get a good tune. And he realized that with us human beings, this is exactly what it is. If we stress ourselves too much, we break. We try too hard, we're too rigid on ourselves and too self-judgmental. And we're self-judgmental, we judge the whole world along with us. We break. But if we're too soft, hello, nice to see you. We're soft, we also have no energy to carry on this spiritual life. We're never free. So this is what the Buddha learned. And he learned it within himself. And he became free. And that's enlightenment. Enlightenment is just living in the world free. And this is the teaching, and this is the teaching he taught. He said, in this world, he called them the 4 noble truths. The first noble truth, there is suffering. Second noble truth, there is a cause for it. Third noble truth, you can find the cause and the remedy for it. And fourth noble truth, and then you can live in freedom and joy.